Alright. Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner Classic That's Non-Classic. This is episode number 2539. And Doubleshot 2433. I have a Superman trade and a Star Wars trade. Why these two together? Sci-fi related. And plus, this is just really good. First we have is Superman Ending Battle. Yep. Yeah, this whole entire storyline is a crossover. It's like a mini cross. It's a crossover between all the Superman books published at this point in time when this book came out. This book collects issues: Superman Volume 2, 186, 187, Avengers Superman 608, 609, Superman Man of Steel 130, 131, Action Comics 795, 76. Now, of these comics, Avengers Superman, Volume, this will continue for a little longer after this one. But here's kind of the thing. Superman of Steel will not last that much longer after this one. No. Like, if you're really curious, how much more would this series last for even after this one wraps up? This would last for another 3 issues before the series got concluded. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, though, the fact it's like this. Yeah, it's a very, very brief crossover. It's only 4 parts. And I'm glad the fact DC finally collected in trade. Because, well, it's a good recent trade release. If you're really curious, the storyline started in September. It was released on September. First part was released September 4th, 2002, which was in Superman number 186. And Action Comics 796, which is the finale, that was released on October 2002. Now, the villains for this particular run is basically Mass Jailer, Nucron, Atomic Skull, Rot, Hilgramite, Fire Fist, High Tech, King Shark, Evil Star, Rock, Terraman, The Elite, Cyborg Superman, Prankster, Bizarro, Metallo, Mongol, and Silver Banshee. The writers of this massive 8-part story are Joe Casey, Jeff Johns, Joe Kelly, and Mark Schutz. The artwork is done by Derek Austin, Brandon Bullocks, Pascal Ferry, and Duncan Ferrer. Now, who does each of the books per se? Well, who does like all 4 parts? Well, Superman is done by Jeff Johns. Avengers of Superman, that's Joe Casey. Superman the Man of Steel, that is done by Mark Schutz. And Action Comics, that is done by Joe Kelly. Like, if you think of like a really, really good Superman story that's not Death of Superman, it's probably this one because it's Superman fighting his own bad guys. And of course, dealing with the return of Manchester Black, which they bring for an alliance story. But the story itself is just really, really good. Yeah, top notch, basically work with these people, by these writers and artists. And I would give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. It was really good. I found no faults in the story, just a lot of fun. Next up we have is Darth Vader, Volume 6. The Return of the Handmaidens. Collecting from the 3rd volume of Darth Vader, 28 to 32. Story by Greg Pak. Artwork by Raphael Ichu does 28, Luke Ross does 29-30, and Eva Rabson does 31-32. Now, before I get started with this book here, this is basically a landmark. I forgot to mention in my last time talking about this one. This was a while ago. That this is the very first Darth Vader volume to last more than 25 issues. And you're thinking, really? It is? Yes, because the very first volume, which was done initially by Karen Gillian and later on by Cy Spurrier, that lasted 25 issues and had one annual. The next volume was done by Charles Scholl, which that one was not take place in the same time period as the other Star Wars books. That was picked up right where that infamous no scene from Revenge of the Sith. And that pretty much only lasted 2 years. Now, in the case of the first volume, I was fine where it ended at, because that's as far as I wanted to go with it. Fine. Volume 2, I don't know exactly why they ended it for, especially since they had a humongous time period they could easily tell stories in. Nope. Let's end the book at 25 issues, and the book end with the debut of his Palace of Mustafar, which made his first actual appearance in Rogue One, even though it was teased in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, the concept was there, but they never actually, it wasn't used, but they finally used it in Rogue One, which was an excellent movie, by the way. In this book in particular, it's all the Handmaidens, basically all the doubles that Padme had. Now, Sebi, the leader of them, is actually working for Vader as an agent. She's given the rank of commander. And apparently, one of the Handmaidens is married to a woman. Now, you're probably thinking, why the heck is there gay stuff in Star Wars? Okay. Now, some might have a problem with this, having one of the members, one of these handmaidens be a lesbian. In my honest opinion, it's perfectly fine. I have no issue with this at all. The reason why, because number one, it's 21st century, I have no problem if you have a fairly original character added as a lesbian. We have basically a very successful one who has had 2 volumes, Dr. Aphra, and she's a lesbian. Which, don't have a problem with that because she's an original character. Like, if you have a long established character and she's added like this right away, it's perfectly fine. But if you have somebody who's gay or bisexual who has been straight for decades, that's what I call bullcrap on, because that's stupid. Looking at stuff like the Tim Drake fiasco, the stuff with Iceman, which they're still doing for some reason, something they could easily undo this. But having this be revealed like this is perfectly fine. Now, do I have a problem with the lesbian kiss Star Wars? No, not necessarily. As a matter of fact, the very first lesbian kiss was very brief, was actually in The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, we actually had a lesbian kiss. And someone had mentioned, that particular shot probably cut in the Chinese version because they don't like people who are homosexuals over there. That's stuff I've heard. Now, I have no problem with the storyline here. Yeah, it's a loose follow-up to some stuff that was established in the prequel trilogy. You know, the whole thing with the whole thing with the Handmaidens is they all work Padme. And the thing all these women have in common is their faces are so similar, they could easily pass as doubles for Padme. Now, there was one of them, Rin, I think her name is, she actually was one who helped out during the Separatist Crisis. Now, here's something that I would love to get. Now, Greg Pak writes in here that Vader immediately recognizes this is not Padme. Despite I think the face is drawn to be very similar to Natalie Portman, the actress who played in the movies. Yeah, because look at these. That's how they're drawn here. And mostly put basically, yeah. So, brought for the Emperor, and, well, it's a lot of really good storytelling, and I thoroughly enjoy this and stuff with it. We also see what happened with the Techno Union here. Yes, something that I don't think anybody's ever been brought up, what happened afterwards. So, apparently, after Vader killed, before he became the Suit Vader, basically, when he was already full-fledged Sith Lord, he had killed the foreman of the Techno Union during that ending of the Clone Wars, where all the leaders got killed. Which, by the way, in story, that was the only people who knew about that was Padme and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and obviously the Emperor. But it's like the way the public reacted to the end of the Clone Wars. It was weird. It's like the droid just stopped moving for reasons. It's like you could say that, oh, maybe the Confederacy surrendered. In universe, this is shown in the movie, in Revenge of the Sith, there was no official surrender. They just stopped moving. They just stopped. And the Clone War is officially over. And it led to the first Galactic Empire. Now, it was revealed what happened after that happened was that the people in charge technically were replaced by Imperial supporters. So they're the ones running the place, and one of them got killed by Sebi, and later on, basically they try to get her back, and then of course she decides to stay with Vader, and they decide to just retire and just do whatever they want. They're not rebels. They have no association with the Rebel Alliance at all. All they want is their friend back, and they want just to disappear into public society and just live their own lives peacefully. But this book was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I give this book a 10 out of 10. And as far as I can tell when it comes to this book-wise, basically upcoming releases, this book is not scheduled to end anytime soon. But, there's actually one Star Wars book that is actually ending really soon. And you're thinking, what book is that? Bounty Hunters! Yes, after issue 42, they're canceling the book. I'm thinking, really? This book has been really good. And you're ending up to 42 issues? Why? Because basically that 42 issues take place at that 1 year time skip. Presumably. But I'm curious though, if you're going to finish filling up that time period between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, here's a good question. Are you going to reveal what happened after Return of the Jedi? Well, in comic-wise, we technically had something like that. It was called Shattered Empire, done by the awesome Greg Rucka. That was really, really good. Like, if I would recommend any of the Star Wars books take place after something, for comic-wise, I would set it after that miniseries. And maybe fill in some gaps that was explored in the novels. That's mostly what we can do now, because that's kind of the thing about the Star Wars comics, basically, because when the previous final start for Star Wars, that began a year after the events of New Hope, but 2 years before Empire Strikes Back. And in the case of Star Wars, that was 75 issues. And then you had the relaunch, where it had lasted about the same length. Now, do I think they're going to restart anytime soon? No, I don't think so. I've not heard anything about that at all. But Vader, given the fact Greg Pak himself is doing an excellent job with this book, I highly doubt the book is going to cancel anytime soon. I highly doubt it. And is it something that this book only collects 5 issues? I mean, that's perfectly fine. And get this. For a book called Darth Vader, and Marvel charges $15.99 for this book. Not $17. Like, the main Star Wars book is like $17. So I think it's like $17 or $19.99, I think it is. This book is really cheap. Like, for Darth Vader? Seriously? One of the most popular cinematic villains of all time? Who was, I saw one person rated as the greatest on-screen villain of all time, Darth Vader. Which, you could buy that for pop culture-wise, yes, you can buy that, but overall, of all time, I highly doubt it. There are people who can claim that this other guy can be the greatest villain of all time, but in the case of pop culture, it's Vader. And I think Marvel should maybe charge a little more for Vader, but my guess is they probably want to be affordable for everybody. Yep. So let's do pretty much a particular review. Next, I'm going to do one more comic corner, and I'm going to rest my voice for a bit, and I'm going to do 3 straight manga reviews. Okay, next view. Bye.